Good afternoon, everybody. This is Dr. Rao, and I just want to come and chat with you guys about the things I'm doing and that are going on in my life. And so it's a question of understanding uh, what I want to do and what's going on in my life towards that. Okay. See, I've been a physician for a long time. Then I get to remember, right? I was a physician actually with a degree and acting as a physician at the age 23. And then right after that, I was in cardiology for a while. And then I came here in the United States. So around 25, 26, I was here. And ever since I have been in the United States in internal medicine, I practiced. I had my own practice, which was a huge practice. And luckily, I was able to sell that off in 2019, almost at the middle of it, May or June, something like that. And then I was able to open an online company, which is called Be a Pal. I just wanted to dedicate that company to uh, the promotion of wellness, not only individually, but also my fellow colleague, the physicians who are burning out, and also to the corporations, because we had plans to really work on the corporate wellness and how to really use technology as a whole and how to help the planet to be well, because that was my real concern. Two things I was always worried about were wellness, how not only treat illness, but let people live in wellness, which is our birthright, which is what we get to begin with. And then with our lifestyles, basically, we have a lot of chronic illnesses. There are infections, there are trauma, those things are there. But uh, it's more and more about understanding that we could be well and we could live joyfully for a long time. Okay. I was seeing the opposite in the American society. Many people work, 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 and then they make money, but then in the process, they are losing their health or they're getting used to some habits that will reduce the quality of life, right? And then they end up with the chronic illnesses and end up being in the nursing home, like almost not able to have a meaningful, purposeful, enjoyable life. Okay, so many of them are kind of tender leaves falling to the floor, but not really having any significance of growth in the last couple of decades, especially. So I'm talking about in general. There are certain people who live up to a centurion. They have good genes and they have no illnesses, and then they live at home. They live on their own. That's very good. That's what I promote, actually. So since 2020, I've been at this BFL, helping physicians to really handle burnout and stress. IT professionals handle stress, and also corporate executives go through servant leadership so that they can lead their companies in uh, no problem. Okay, and then also help the employees do better in their work and in their personal life too. So all these activities keep me busy, but I also enjoy coming on the social media and open up. Right now, I'm open up on the new vibe. I'm open on the LinkedIn and also Facebook and YouTube. I love to converse with people, and I love to engage in good topics that are relevant to our life. But my main thing is, having seen so much of illness, when we understood that we don't have to necessarily be ill, we can protect our wellness in so many ways. I wanted people to be proactive about being well. What do you do? How do you do? What do you eat? How do you exercise? How do you sleep? How do you manage your mind, relationships, and your pursuits? All that. How do you manage your energy? These are all the intricacies and wisdom we have, not only from scientific exploration of so many things, but also what the ancients had the lived experience of how to live. I think that is where it made a difference for me to be able to understand uh, what is going on with our modern life and why we end up with so many chronic illnesses, so much of mental anguish, mental stress, and also how we can really open our eyes, understand this, and then incorporate the wellness measures we already. Everybody knows we got to eat right, but how many people are doing it? How many people are led by restaurant chains to eat something that's not good for you? All the fast food chains, ubiquitous, everywhere, right? And also the food is remained bad, even though so many reviews, so many things tell you you will be having chronic illnesses related to nutrition if you go on eating only the fast food, right? So people used to cook at home, cook it with care, cook it with good ingredients. That has changed. So how can you modify that? How can you get back to that? That kind of wisdom was there in the ancient time, to the degree where they called medicine. Food is the medicine. So you can cure a lot of your illnesses just by the food. What was that all about? So I went and studied about it. I learned a lot of intricacies of Ayurveda. Even though I was born in India, I was really never exposed to the what is Ayurveda, how we can learn it, none of that. But then later on, as I understood that, I was very fascinated and got into it. And now I hardly eat outside. I eat at home and we prepare meals, and my wife does a very good job. And mostly fresh, no cans, no preserved food, fresh vegetables and fruits from the organic markets, or if we grow in our backyard. We live in Iowa, so 9 months we have this cold weather. So mostly we have to do indoor gardens, and also really, if not available, we go and pick up stuff from the this uh, very simple organic markets where they grow and bring the food right away, and then we can enjoy the food very fresh almost. Okay, so we have to spend a little bit and we have to go a little bit to come back, but that's the wellness principle. Eat fresh, seasonal food that is available easily, and they're mostly raised without chemicals and fertilizers and all that. If you only put your effort, there will be something available in all places. Okay, so we kind of strive towards that, and also we try to eat when we are hungry, not according to a time, but according to the work we do, according to the hunger we feel, and also we take time to sit down and chew it and enjoy the food. This is a simple wellness measure, right? you could come back to that. Instead of modern life, what's happening? People don't have time to prepare, don't have time to sit down and see what is this that I'm eating? Is this good for me or not? Okay. And the other thing is they go by the taste, or they go by the talking with somebody and then eating, not paying attention to what they are eating. So many things are happening because food is taken a more like a, oh, I'm hungry, I've eaten, or that I'll put down. But they don't understand the long term consequences of your energy, long term consequences of your illnesses, long term consequences of your weight and all those things, right? So slow down, calm down, pay attention to what is going on into your body. Water, or are you drinking a lot of soda? Things like that. So I have come with this proactive wellness where it involves everything that we do. The way the food we eat, the way we move around the world, and the way we rest and sleep, and the way we rest our mind. That's a big problem now, right? So putting all them together, have come to the conclusion that there are so many things as modern people, as intelligent modern people, as somebody who is aware of what's going on with us, we can do that. We are not doing that mainly because we are unaware of what's going on in our life. We don't really pay attention to that, right? So that kind of thing is always happening, and that's why I came up with this comprehensive program of how to be proactively well. Okay, that's kind of really gave us really important measures that we could do on a daily basis, which will help us to really know about that. Okay, so when we looked at that, then it is very apparent to me that we are unaware, we are sleeping on a daily basis. We don't really say. So I have developed this proactive wellness, PAW, I call it, as a living system. It's more about inner awareness to systemic well being. How you are aware of what is going on in life around you and inside you, and develop that into a, all your systems are well, your outward system also is well, your planet is well, that kind of thing. Okay. This is why this is so important to me to advertise and really take it to the people so that they can understand and then get benefit out of that. Okay, so that is what I'm going to talk a little bit about today. How I'm planning to implement this proactive wellness. Okay, as I see it, see the problem is modern healthcare has become a system that waits for disease to appear before taking action, right? They let you have high blood pressure long time unless you have some headache, some problems. They don't take care of it, right? Some people may measure, and some nurse may come to your house and measure. Some company nurse may do that. That is the modern development. That is very good. But in general, if you take the number of people, modern wellness culture kind of perpetuates a cycle of quick fixes and some productivity hacks that rarely address the underlying disconnect. We have lost touch with our body's inherent wisdom. We treat symptoms rather than restoring the natural rhythms that prevent illness from taking root in the first place. That is a modern problem. The, what is the power response is proactive wellness. This one addresses the root cause. See, we have the lost connection to our own inner intelligence, which restores our self responsibility and inner regulation. This creates a foundation where your true wellness begins before illness ever emerges. This is not about adding more to your life, it's about returning to what your body already knows how to do. So that is the PAW response I wanted to take up. Okay. Now, as we look at this, what is the core of this proactive wellness? You will come to know how significant that is. Okay. Uh, Number one is, okay, the core promise of proactive wellness is every offering that is made under proactive wellness must clearly deliver the fundamental transformation in how we relate to our own well-being. What is the interest we are taking? What are the changes we are taking? First one is, from reacting constantly and getting the emotional turmoil and then all the stress hormones, take a break. Whenever you see something at work, there's danger or something like that, take a break and take deep breath and then respond while you're moving from autopilot reactions or stress reactions to conscious, grounded responses. If you can do it daily without reacting and then do, that's why the deep breathing helps, all that. And then second thing is, we are really fragmented. We think body is separate, breath is separate, mind and awareness, they're separate. But we want to bring all of them into coherent whole. So from fragmentation to alignment of everything, body, brain, and breath. Number three is, we are very much dependent on authorities outside. Some nutritional body, some medical doctor, and all that. Yeah, fine. Use them for educational. But you got to understand you have to have your own self-regulation. Then you don't have to depend on anybody. You can learn them. Okay. But cultivating this inner authority and the capacity for natural balance. That has to be done by you. Okay. And then you can take expert opinion, but eventually you have to establish the self-regulation by yourself. So from dependence to self-regulation. And then just surviving, and then surviving without any joy or meaning or purpose, that is the norm now in the modern society. So what we want is survive, yeah, for survive for a long time, but survive with meaning, right? Survival to quiet joy. So, how can you discover this simple, sustainable pleasure of being fully alive? So, these four things, from reaction to responsiveness, from fragmentation to alignment of our whole body, brain, and breath, and everything, and from being dependent on externality to self regulation. Learn, but be self regulated. And then from survival to quiet joy. These are the simple, sustainable pressure that you can cultivate just by being alive. Okay, um, that's why I value life of a human being so much, and value the my life one also, because I'm very happy, grateful that we are born as a human being, because we have that intelligence that we can use and use our past and the future much better. Okay, so how we plan to implement this or doing some of it is through some living pathways. Okay, so this kind of clarity of pathway prevents your dilution and burnout. That's what's happening, right? Each pathway I'm going to do serves a specific context while maintaining the core flow principles, which we discussed earlier. For individuals, personal practice and daily integration for anyone seeking to restore inner regulation and authentic well-being. People who are stressed out, who are burned out, and who are having chronic diseases, but so many medications, so much of suffering. They come because they have to. They don't feel good, they come. Okay. That's a too late for my thing. You can do that, we will do that, but then restoring them to wellness again, they come back with the same problem. That's why we want to teach them how to take a self responsibility and then do this proactive wellness in their daily life. The pillars of wellness we teach them: have vital nutrition, not just the nutrition, but that has to produce vital energy for you. Do the exercise so that the body is kind of restored to its active self. River that is flowing all the time will not have impurities. Like that body is moving and doing stuff all the time will not have any residual illness and all that. Okay. So we teach that to the individual people, but also there are professionals that come to me, right? So they have to sustain a high performance, but at the same time, they don't want to burn out. They are preventing the burnout, right? So all the professionals that relate to me, mostly doctors, nurses, pharmaceutical, healthcare people, but also uh, IT professionals with us, so much of deluge of information and so much knowledge economy. People are obviously using their mind a lot without realizing how to calm it down, how to quiet it down, and get back to function. So they want to have high performance through inner alignment, and they want to prevent burnout while enhancing their effectiveness. That's what is the proactive wellness courses do for that. It's not only just courses, how I do morning report, how I do the rooms in the afternoon, and also how I do in the late evening. People really are happy with that. And then they kind of come to me for individual help. That's okay. But even if they don't come, if they just listen to me and they change their life, I'm happy with that. Okay. So no problem. Okay. But generally, people seek out for these proactive wellness measures. Okay, they are there right there in front of you, but most of the time we are not paying attention to them, or the market influences so much we get sucked into it. That's what is happening too. Because we don't pay attention to what people are promoting, we just get sucked into it sometimes. Okay, so just waking them up and then paying attention is the main thing. Okay, so what we do for the system level, for organization, communities, that is very important these days, because if you have a culture transformation through wellness practices that are embedded in the life itself, they become the way systems naturally operate. Nobody imposing them, but people are, for example, you are responsible for a society where 24 apartments are there and people are living in that big complex. Influence the leader to really take these issues in front of people and then get educated by themselves and adopt systems that will really promote the wellness practices. And they should be embedded. Not I mean, people they say, oh, I'm ADA, I'm AMA and all. That's fine. But then are you really getting the natural stuff, seasonal stuff? Are you be able to rest naturally, eat naturally? Those things are getting really influenced by commercial interests. So be aware of that. That's all. Okay, that's what this PAW system, proactive wellness, is supposed to do for the individuals, for the professionals, and for the system as a whole. Wellness in the healthcare system is not given that much importance as much as for the treating the symptoms and treating the chronic illnesses and all that. But then they maintain chronic illnesses. We're talking about reversing them by knowing the roots of these chronic illnesses and preventing them. How many people are really worried about that? That's what I want to point out. Examine yourself. Do you give importance to the roots of the illnesses and then address them on a daily basis? Not in a compulsive way, but in a awareness way. You are aware of this problem. I'm not going to allow this to develop. that kind of thing. Okay, so I believe that all the healthcare practitioners, healthcare providers should be well first, and then promote the wellness measures first, and then tell the people how to really assess everything in a way that is root cause evaluation and eliminate that. Okay, that's not happening. That's what I'm telling you. Okay, so as you attend to the individual people and the pros among us and also the system as a whole, then that culture has to be promoted. That's what I'm trying to do. Okay, so we have to build a foundation. See, the foundation is without individual doing the proactive wellness measures by himself. Uh, See, nothing else sustains. So individual practice creates the ground from which all other pathways grow. So I do daily integrated yoga in the morning routine, right? Like I was telling you about, if you work with your body, that is the Hatha Yoga, Hatha. Moon and sun combination is Hatha. Okay, and then I do the uh, deep breathing constantly during the exercise. That is the pranayama or energy yoga, right? Kriya yoga is also that, okay? And we work with the mind, asking people to be here and now. Develop that focus. Take that focus to the work and be present with whatever you are doing. Be attentive, be aware of what is happening around you, in you. So that is Raja Yoga. Raja Yoga, if you really take it as a whole, it will take you for several years. But then simply think what this preaches, still your mind and be still at least for a few minutes in the morning, in the evening. That's called what they call samadhi. That may not be possible for everybody, but at least calm your mind down and focus what you are doing. Okay? That is another yoga I integrated there. And the other yoga is how do you work, what purpose you have. Can you go and serve the life in whatever you're doing as an offering from you rather than you want something from it behind? That is karma yoga. Karmanyavadikaraste mafaleshu kadachana. That was the saying in the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, in the book he tells you have every right to do work and you have to perform your duty without expecting anything in return. That is karma yoga. That is the yoga of action. How do you act in life? How do you provide to the life? That kind of thing. That is included in there because I come to give that integrated yoga practice to you all, and I enjoy giving it. And then you all practice, and then you go and take that to the work. So I tell, go with the spirit of service, attitude of service. I'm sure you many of you are doing, but actively remembering that and providing it a random act of kindness. A smile at somebody, going there trying to offer them some help even though they didn't ask you. All these things are very good for your wellness, even though we don't do it with that purpose, but it feels good to give. When you give, when you have abundance, and then these wellness practices bring out the abundance already there within you. The moment you go intellectual, you go talking about things, you go assessing, analyzing all this with your mind, then you fell out of your heartful giving, right? So you have so much about your race, about where you belong, and what your exceptionalism, all these things. That is all become egotistical reactions. And that is the one which is heavy for you. But if you can put it aside and accept everybody as human being, and we are all in one human tribe, then it's very, very easy to understand what is giving from the heart. Okay, keep your mind quiet, still, and then don't be sure, don't be really clever about things. Just allow your heart flow through you. So that is what we do, the devotional and also the Raja Yoga. And then we come up with Jnana Yoga, where we want to identify who we really are and what are our instruments. Our inner consciousness, or witness consciousness, or our inner being is our real identity. But we mistake the so-called ego as our identity, or our body or mind as identity. So affirming that I am not just the body or mind, but there's something more in me, that is what I am, that is Gnana Yoga. For the Gnana Yoga, what did they say? Mala Vikshepa Avarana in ancient wisdom. Mala means dirt in our mind. All this assessment, all this analysis, and everything else breeds us so much of dirt of hatred, or dirt of thinking that I'm separate than this human being, all that, and also all the desires and everything that is going on. And that is washed out when you offer yourself in the karma yoga, in the yoga of action, where you are giving, you are performing without really expecting anything in return, right? And then realizing that you don't have any dirt, but you have a mind that is not focused. Vikshepa means it's all over the world. You bring it together, concentrate, and also make your thoughts are still. Then you discover I have a purified mind from working selflessly, and I have a focused mind by understanding how the mind works. And with that, I go and inquire, who am I? What am I? Am I just this physical body that is going to end anyway? Am I just this mental thoughts and conclusions and my own ego and all that? Yeah, am I that life force that is animating my body and mind? Once you are in there, then you can use your thoughts for better. You can use your body for better, and you can actually manage them better as they are objects to you. Okay, that is Gnana Yoga. People take years and years to come to this. So we just want them people to have that kind of orientation on a daily basis. So that's why my yoga practice is not physical exercise. It includes physical exercise, it includes concentration, it includes laser-like focus, it includes opening the heart, it includes giving to the life without expectation, and it includes knowing who we are and station in that, maintain our bodies and mind, also have a relationship with other people and the life in general, other planet in general. Lofty, but not really lofty. That is the natural way of being well and really doing ourselves a favor by understanding who we really are and really ending up who we already are. It's not about growing up or getting knowledge from everybody and then opening up or growing up. None of it. We just recognize what is already there. Okay? So that's why we want people to be awareness based living, and also from control to awareness, shifting from trying to control thoughts to cultivating the spacious awareness, and that holds all experience with ease. Why people don't have brain fog after working all day in attention? Because they are not accumulating unnecessary thoughts. If you think your intellect is the greatest thing and you're worshipping the intellectualism, then you are confined to only one aspect of human being, which is the thought made images of yourself into intellectual identity. You use the intellect, but you don't become slave to the intellect. Okay? And then simple reflection. There are daily practices that help you notice patterns, recognize triggers within you, and gradually strengthen your inner compass. So you are going from that inner compass to life. So this is building the foundation with daily integrated yoga and awareness-based living, and from control to awareness, and simple self regulation or self reflection. These four things are the foundation for the proactive wellness, which I am working on. Okay. So as we look at it, it makes a lot more sense. Okay. Now, when you want to sustain excellence in this, you want to have the morning routine, then you want to prevent burnout, stress through inner regulation. You're not asking about something outward. Learn to recognize and respond to stress signals before they compound into chronic depletion of your energy and all your able to do stuff with abundance. And having this karma yoga at work, the practice of service without depletion, that gives fully well by maintaining your inner resource. AI as assistant, that's another thing I'm doing, not a master. Using technology strategically while you want to preserve your human wisdom and decision making authority, right? That's very important too. So as I look for this, these are very apparent to me. Okay, so I want a cultural transformation in our understanding. Systems heal when individuals within them are regulated by themselves. The PAW system is a proactive wellness system, creates environments where well-being becomes a natural way of operating. Natural way of operating, not an add-on program. Okay, it's a very fundamental thing. So I want to create some circles, small, consistent groups that meet regularly to practice together, creating webs of mutual support and shared accountability. But not that giving knowledge to them, but they're kind of going inward towards their own already embedded knowledge. And I also want to some facilitators. They are uh, trained facilitator working within organizations like a corporation and holding space for practice and cultural integration. Okay. And then promote wellness as a culture, not about just treating the illness and forget about it, but being well to begin with. Treat the illness if it is there, fine, but then don't stop there. Promote wellness, moving beyond wellness perks to creating environments where self care and mutual support are woven into daily operations. And then planetary responsibility, extending awareness beyond individual and organizational health to ecological and planetary well being. I have always been oriented towards that. Okay, so it's not difficult for me to do that. Okay, and then when you are really discover this inner abundance, you will not be this irrational, rampant consumer that is consuming everything for no idea. They have no idea how that consumption leads to damage to the planet. So, if your daily practice, there's no negotiable self, everything non-negotiable self-care, right? And you can have morning routine, breath awareness, moments of stillness throughout the day, small acts that accumulate into profound shifts. Weekly rhythms also. You can reflect, service, the community, and all that. Longer practices at the weekend time with your own circle of people who are following this proactive wellness, and acts of service. You could do deliberately, dedicate one weekend for something, and then weekly patterns that maintain your momentum and connection in this wellness measured following. It's actually really personally taken care of. Okay, seasonal recalibration. Okay, you can reset or retreat or deeper integration when you come to places like that. Okay, you can do quarterly retreat. This is what we are planning: seasonal adjustment and time for deeper self. So when you come to my uh, talks, come with a sense of deeper self inquiry. Take the insight of a wisdom. It's not information. Somebody was saying, oh, you give good information. It's not information. It is the insight into that information that acts on you, and then you take it like a wisdom and explore it first. Don't agree with it. Explore and then apply that information or the insight of the information into your life. So allowing natural cycles to guide your evolution, then you will be happy to you did that. Okay. So it's a question of understanding what I'm intending to do. You don't have to do anything. These are all the things I'm planning to do, and but you can absorb these things, and then um, you, the facilitators are going to be appearing. So they have to be living their practice, holding space, not authority, and guiding without dependency, and always pointing inward to your inward. And you will be at the end of it, you should be having one third of the time your reduced reactivity. And then you have a sense of meaning of whatever you're doing, how you are living. And then you really lower your crisis care. That's what many people are doing is crisis care. Okay. So my system as I envision, which will be continuously improved, which is called proactive wellness, is a return. It's not a new innovation. See, PAWO, instead of uh, you know resisting it, we want to civilize the understanding. Okay, we want to integrate ancient wisdom with modern tools, allowing awareness to remain the master of all systems. Ancient wisdom, operating system, time tested practice forms the foundations of how we live and work, right? And the modern medicine is a safety net. Advanced healthcare supports us when needed without becoming the primary focus because it doesn't produce the root cause system healing. We want to use it for the sake of it and then come back to it. And then also technology make it an assistant, AI, for example, assistant that serves human wisdom rather than replacing it. If you replace it, then it will be much more mechanical, much more problems. And the awareness is the master, conscious presence that guides us all choices and remains the ultimate authority. The body knows, the breath regulates nervous system. Awareness liberates us from those instinctive impulses. So proactive wellness reminds us humans of what we already are carrying within. Well-being becomes natural again. We're returning back to who we are, right? So once you have that, then you will be able to understand what I'm talking about. Okay, what I'm doing, watch it. I live the days very meaningfully, naturally for me, and my meaningful thing is just promote wellness, make sure people are attending to the root causes, make sure they are understanding the system that is not oriented towards your wellness rather than depleting you of energy, money, and time. So I talk to the healthcare systems like this, and they are trying to do the best they can do in the atmosphere of revenue-based system. So till the time they change the payments and all that, there's very little space for them to be a complete diabetic educator versus treating a diabetes in ICU with a diabetic coma, because they get a lot more money in ICU than somebody sitting down and explaining the patient how to prevent everything. But that will be the culture down the line as we are not able to pay for the healthcare. Right now, 1 out of every $5 in United States goes to healthcare. Are you healthy as a population? I have to say no. Many chronic illnesses, many mental illnesses, and then also people are stressed out, burned out, don't have meaning, don't have joy in their life. That is that's the actual fact. It's not even my opinion. Okay. So you taking charge of yourself, of your own wellness, is the proactive wellness. Okay. So yeah, that is my what I'm doing. And if you guys, anybody has any comments or questions or suggestions, come up and tell me about it. Don't listen to these things as though they are just entertainment. Listen to these things as serious proposals of making from illness to wellness and living well. That is possible. I'm 70, but I have a bundle of energy because of the inner compass, inner orientation. Not thought as the main thing, but the awareness as the main thing. That is where the ancient wisdom differs. For 500 years or so, we kind of stuck in the thought. Then somebody said, I think, therefore I am. He kind of shortchanged us. He should have waited and say, I am conscious, I am awareness, therefore I am. And I have thought as an instrument, but it has to find its place. Use it when we need it and rest it when you don't need it. That is the trick modern people are not getting it. People who think a lot, who read a lot, who verbalize a lot, they think they are very smart. But if you don't know what is silence, what is stillness of mind, what is serenity, and then come out and use your mind for things outward, that will be wonderful. Use the mind, do your things, but also know how to still your mind and enjoy that joyful presence, silence. Okay. I tasted that. I do live in that awareness and use my thought consciously and end my thought consciously. Thereby, I save a bunch of energy every day. That's the fact. Okay. Oh, my friend Lois is coming. She knows what I'm talking about. Hi, Lois.
Hey, Dr. Rao, how you doing?
I am doing great. How are you?
Oh, I am wonderful. Just finished a cruise to Mexico and had fun with my family, and it was our first cruise together. So
Good. Yeah, good. Yeah.
I like this talk about proactive wellness because that's what it's all about. It's not about not about reactive wellness, because that's what most of the country is doing.
Yeah.
They're reacting instead of being proactive. And because I found that most of my younger years were I was being reactive. Something happened, I go do something about it. Something happens, I do something about it. Something happens, I do something about it. Which is nothing wrong with that. That's taking care of business. However, once I got so sick, I had to realize that, wait a minute, just reacting when it comes is not enough. I got to try and be in a preventive stage. An ounce of prevention beats a pound of cure. Is that what they say?
Exactly. See, we have to react when we have something wrong, but then we can prevent something wrong coming on. That's the point.
Yes. And my thing is, I'm at the place where in my life where now I know my body is 100% healthy, is 100% whole. It's just me becoming aware of it and doing things with my body that maintains that wholeness and that wellness.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so, and when I changed when I shifted my paradigm on how I thought about sickness and health, it changed everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't have to be, and now I don't have to be reactive unless a common cold come on or something like that. Yeah. But then there's still things that I do on a daily basis, which is keep my stress lower, stay in peace, my meditation, my reading, my stuff that I do on a regular basis for self-care that prevents a whole lot of other stuff from happening, or those 48 diseases that my body was reacting to.
That's the key, Lois, because as human beings, we have a way to live well and to live a longer time and in joy, not in misery.
Yeah. And I learned that being reactive left me in a lot of misery, but being proactive keeps me in a lot of help and hope. And because I know I have the power to do something about it. I'm not stuck. When I'm in the reactive mode, I feel like, oh my God, I'm stuck here. I got to get out. I got to get out. But if I'm proactive, I'm saying, ooh, there's a hole. I don't have to fall in that hole.
See, one thing you did, Lois, you were always finding out, educating yourself and knowing and researching all this. Do that, but eventually it has to come into your life. You're implementing the wisdom that you learned, you're actually operating in your life. That's what we are proposing. Know about what is the root cause, know about how to treat that, and then implement that.
Yes, yes. And just understanding, to me, it's about understanding my body. How is my body function? What are my cycles in my sleep? What are my cycles in my stress? What are my cycles? Knowing how I function, not how they say the average person, because nobody's an average person. Everybody's individual when it comes to all these inner mechanisms.
Yeah.
And knowing yourself, being, again, that awareness. This awareness is key.
Yeah.
Being aware of yourself and how you react and respond, and then questioning how you react and respond, and then really looking into it and saying, hey, do I like that I'm, like Mark John says, do I like that I do this?
Yeah.
And then making decisions, because I thought I was stuck. I thought I was going to die in my illness because that's what they told me. That's what it was going. All of the illnesses I had, that's where they led to death, to dismemberment, death, heart attack, stroke, everything. Okay, so when I changed that paradigm and started becoming proactive about wellness and saying, knowing that I'm well already and that I'm just doing things that make my body react in a ill way, then I was like, oh, I got to stop doing that stuff. Let me do the stuff that promotes the healing instead of stuff that promotes the disease.
Body has a lot of capacity to self-heal, but you have to allow the environment for it. You can't eat all the nonsense, and you can't sit down in a chair, be sedentary, and then you let your mind go. These are all against the wellness. So once you realize that, then I don't have to be like this. I don't have to eat all this junk food. I don't have to really sit in the chair. I can get up and walk a little bit. And simple things like that will keep your health much better. Yeah.
Yeah, just it's basic movement in thoughts, mind, and body.
Yeah. Exactly.
Because that stagnation, you stay stuck. Oh.
Yeah, that's very true. What Lois was saying, let her end. Let her complete what she has to say.
So I was saying, so when you are moving in mind, body, spirit, and everything, when you're moving, you're in the flow of things. When you get stuck on something, it's kind of like gum sticking to the bottom of your shoe. Stuck, and you hit this stuck. And the thing is when we stay in the flow of our health, this flow of who we people, watching our energy levels, being aware of the energy levels, being aware of how we're sleeping, being aware of how we're digesting things, whether it's emotional, mental, being aware of the tension that happens when somebody says a special word and all of a sudden we get triggered, knowing how we can use our breath to bring us back into course correction. It's just so much. But I know for me, the movement, the hydration, nutrition, the rest, the breath works, the quieting the mind, all of those things are maintenance tools. They're not emergency fixes. People use them for emergency tools. Oh, well, I'm not moving, I'm not doing this, so let me hurry go join the exit gym. First of the year, that's what everybody do. Let me go do this. Or, oh, I promised myself I'm going to drink 8 glasses of water a day, or whatever your nutritional. And this thing is, it's like it's based on an emergency fix, rather than this is a normal routine that I do. And that's where mine changed, because it was like, I don't want to keep fixing stuff. I want to maintain so it don't get broken.
See, one of the fundamental thing in ancient practices of wellness is recognizing that we are born in balance. They call that Prakriti. That is, Prakriti means nature. Nature is in balance, but we kind of interfere with the balance with all these weird habits we develop because of the culture, because of the education, whatever. Now coming back to that, that's what we are inviting. You are already have that compass of awareness within you. Develop that and be aware of what is going on. And then don't have to yield to anybody, but you have an intelligence to really evaluate is this true or not. Then know the truth, let the truth come into your life.
Yes. And the thing is that when we're proactive about wellness and health and our lives, period. Yeah. Okay, because you can be proactive about every cycle in your life. Okay, we reduce that chronic stress and inflammation because we're building margins. Right. We're saying once this stress goes this way, I need to go back the other way. But you can't do that without awareness of who you are. You know, and I know that me being proactive, my nervous system is way more balanced and I got a lot of emotional resiliency now. Yeah. And when I do this, the clarity, the creative, the decision making is simplified. Yeah. Okay, I'm not saying it's so easy. No, I still have my challenges, but I understand that when I react to my challenge, I'm putting myself in stress mode. But if I'm proactive about my challenges that I see, I know I'm gonna face this in 2 months. So let me prepare myself. In 2 months, my winter is coming in this area of my life. Yeah. And when you're proactive about this, you dress for the weather. And it doesn't affect you as much.
Yeah. And also your weather is much worse by how you think about it.
Yes.
You can.
Yeah, everything is normal to me.
Yeah, I'm in
everything
Iowa.
Everything is normal to me, and everything is a miracle at the same time.
Yeah, I'm in Iowa, right? It's very cold here, you know. But we learn to deal with it. We don't complain about anything. We just dress accordingly, and we go about our business.
Yes, and that's the thing is, I think the bottom line is, how are you responding to whatever the stress are? Are you complaining? Yeah. Okay, which adds to whatever it is. Oh, I'm so tired. That adds to that negative feeling that you're feeling. Or are you going to be proactive about it and say, wait. Oh, I feel my energy draining. Let me institute this tool that I've learned to use to pick my energy up. Let me get in gratitude. That's my go-to. Gratitude and ho'oponopono is my go-to to when I feel myself getting imbalanced. I'm like, wait. Why am I focused on this? Look, all this stuff in my life is going good. Why am I stuck on this one little bitty piece of area? And that puts everything in perspective. So it's about perspective and understanding yourself and understanding your own seasons in every different area of your life, because every area of life goes through seasons. Thank you, Dr. Ra. I love you and I love listening to you.
Thank you, nice. I love you too. Okay, so absolutely, because she had so many illnesses in the past, and she has overcome all of them. You know, she didn't listen to those doctors who are telling her no sayings, right? She didn't listen. She took advantage of her knowledge about wellness, whatever she knew, and then she went and investigated whatever she didn't know. And I'm like that too. I continue to learn ancient ways of feeling well, and they led to remarkable things for me myself. You know, I recovered from a stroke. I maintained very good health since then, and I've been functional more, contributing to more to life than I was before. Right? I was a physician. I was running a family. I was running a practice. I was serving thousands of patients. That was all good. But then now I want to reach out the world, health systems everywhere. And then, yeah, Peter, you want to come up and tell me what do you think about this uh, kind of movement I want to create with a proactive wellness in every life, every system, every pro, and every corner of the planet. Okay, this is not about being ambitious and getting name and all. This is about there is a situation of people continuing to be ill when we could be proactive about wellness. Pay attention to your means of wellness. Pay attention to see whether you're already doing it fine. If not, there are so many things that you could do, not just eating and moving and sleeping and all that, but they can revolutionize your understanding about wellness, your triggers of wellness, your keepers of wellness, and then be conscious about implementing them on a daily basis. That is more protective, more giving you energy, and really saves you on lots of money, time, and energy. Right? Thereby, not only you are relieving the possible suffering from the chronic illnesses, but also you can joyfully exist. Whatever I do really gives me joy. And that's why I come, even though so few people come here, and the management and of these channels don't recognize the value of this. I think I want to give the value, whether somebody accepts it or not, and I live it. And I'm trying to say, people like Lois also live it, and they're coming out and telling them. So we need more of that kind of awareness. Also, don't accept anything we say as the only truth. Okay, go and find out. Find out whether there are so much of chronic illness like I am claiming. Find out whether there's so much that our body can repair by itself. Find out what are the things we are doing to interfere with that natural healing and naturally be well. I think that is a responsibility for every person to maintain their wellness. And if you depend on somebody else, they will direct you according to how they want. Do you want to live happily, joyfully, meaningfully, purposefully, and also have the uh, energy and real um, enthusiasm for life? I have a lot of enthusiasm for life. Not because there are problems, but because there's so much joy out there that is possible. Okay, so ancient wisdom said, "Atyadika dukkha nivrutti." That means atyadika means extraordinary, extreme, beyond normal measures. Dukkha means sorrow. Nivrutti means we can transcend that. We can develop that inner resilience, not to be succumbed by our grief or whatever loss we feel, whatever all that. That is one kind of understanding. The other kind of understanding is Paramananda Prapti. Paramananda means extreme, Ananda means joy or bliss, Prapti means you will get it. So you'll experience that in spite of outward changes, in spite of having so much. Your inner resilience, not resistance, resilience, capacity to understand difficult situations outward and also difficulties in the inward, and then be joyfully present. Okay, so that is possible in human life. Okay, but the human intelligence is not acting that way. You are stuck with some conclusions, some rationale, some concepts. Get out of that. Look at things with perception for what they are, as they present to you. Not according to your so-called stuck philosophy, but with what is present, what is really here and now. That is perception gives you what is the object showing you. I see chronic illness tremendously getting worse, getting more and more people are getting chronically ill, and more people don't have the means to take care of them, and more people are ending up in a kind of situation where they wither away. Do we need to do that? No. Do we need to waste our later years in bed and nursing homes? No. You may end up there for some reason, but you can try also not to be there. That's my point. Okay, anybody else want to come up and tell me anything? So, before I close down, I invite you all to listen to these presentations of mine, proactive wellness, and evaluate for yourself what are the measures that I can do in a proactive manner today that will help me to be well to begin with. Or maybe I'm doing some things that took me away from that wellness into chronic illness. Identify them and try to correct them. It's as simple as that. You can continue your treatments that you are having from your doctor, fine, but find out why I'm having these things. And then you can do that. Okay? If you can do that, then my talks are worthy. Even one person does that and produces wellness. That's wonderful. Yeah, Lois.
Yeah, I would add to that. You were talking about earlier about using AI as a personal assistant. This is where AI will extremely help you. I mean, all you put in, you get the basic AI. You don't have to buy no extra. Check T. This is what I've been diagnosed with. What are the spiritual, physical, and whatever nutritional causes of this disease? Yeah. Now, and I do holistically beyond the doctors to help to facilitate my healing. Yeah. You just asked it, and then as it gives you stuff, okay, well, it says, well, you need to add some, let's say, some different herbs and vitamins to it. Then you ask it, okay, so what is a diet that I can eat that has these herbs and vitamins in it? Yeah. Give me some sample recipes. Give me the grocery list. It will do everything for you, but you got to put the information in it that you want to find out. And this way, it's not as hard as it was for me because I had to go to the library. I had to get books while I was sick, dragging myself, trying to read because the internet was not as... Yeah. We didn't have AI when I was going through this. Actually, I had to really go out and do the hard work.
AI in medicine, what is coming up, I'm going to do a room on that because as a physician, as a scientist, I'm very interested in the technology of AI and how it is going to help us. It is really helping me a lot. I told so many people because it is liberating me a lot of time that I used to write and articles or whatever. Now I'm using the time for my spiritual self-inquiry.
There it is right there. And for me, that's what it was. Because it's before, every time something would happen or go wrong, or somebody asked me, well, I have this disease, I have that disease. What I was going because I was helping my clients in a holistic way. So I wasn't just doing
in my talk, Lois, you will find not just only ChatGPT, that could be the fundamental, fine. Yes. But there are resources as a patient. You can go and verify this information and take it to your provider. If you have any and the thing
is that when I know that when I did my research, my personal research, and went into my providers and said, and they were the ones that says, "Oh my God, you found out what was wrong with you."
My intention
they didn't diagnose me; I did.
Yeah, my intention is promote patients to be more empowered.
Yes,
with the right information, and also be able to ask questions about their own illness.
Yes, and the whole thing is that for me on the practitioner side is not assuming that you know everything.
No,
okay, because I know I had to know that I did not know nothing when it came to each one of my clients, and I was dealing with psychological problems.
Yeah,
and I knew my field, but I didn't know everything because everybody was different, and a lot of my doctors.
No, you don't have to be aware of everything. You don't have to know everything. But what is important is be aware of your own ignorance.
Yes, that's it right there. That's it right there.
Actually, my patients are better responsive to me because I was giving them all the input about the illness. And sometimes in the beginning, they complain, "You are the doctor. You tell us we will do whatever you want to."
Yes.
No, I said, no. Understand what I am doing to you. And then really be prepared for the things that can happen. In that way, I cut down the medications by 50-60% right away. They understood why I'm cutting them down. And also, they understood what could happen if they don't have the medication or what could happen if they have too many medication interactions.
Yes, and see, my doctors, for some reason, they didn't do continuity of care,
No.
so they made situations worse. If I hadn't taken it in my own hand, I would be dead because I had to look at, oh, this medication is doing this, and this is interacting with that, and then I brought it to them. And, oh, yeah, okay, well, we ain't gonna do that because everybody they don't know everything that everybody's giving you and everybody's telling you and that you're doing.
AI Rise is going to take away the cognitive function by that own and then multiply it several times. So we can use it as assistant and we are better off because of that.
Yes. So I said, I'm like you. Use AI. Yeah. It's not to control you. It's not to do your work for you. It's as an assistant to help you do the work that you need to do for you. And that's all I came back for is that, hey, AI is a good assistant in helping you understand what's wrong with you and helping you figure out how to make it right.
Yeah, you got to ask the right questions and verify the information and also use it with your trusted experts that you go to. And that way, it is going to be more and more educational, more and more empowering the patients, and which I want to promote. I have been doing that ever since I became a physician. I always believed if somebody understands the situation, that's much better. That eases anxiety, that eases mystery, and that is a fear and all that people engage in. So I really expect our physicians to teach our patients what they are suffering with, why they are suffering with, what they could do in their lifestyles that can reduce this suffering. And people don't have patience, but you have to have the patience. Now you can sit down in front of the computer and then research. More than chat gpt, if you go to perplexity, that's a go to deep search, you will have a lot more information coming to you. Try that. Try a medical condition that you have and educate. And there's a Dr. Gupta, that's something for the patients themselves. Like that, you look for my talk on the, I always ask, are you AI ready? In that, I'm going to do on the medicine, there's a deep study as a medical person, as a scientist, what is going on in the medical field as a whole on the AI and how patients can empower themselves by using AI. Several new platforms are coming up, pretty good, Claude or Gemini, so many things, right? But you don't have to explore everything. Start with ChatGPT, go to Perplexity, go to Claude. Any number of things are there. I'm going to mention some of them relevant to your illness, relevant to your chronic illness, for example, or relevant to state of health in United States. What are the services? How to uh, really be proactive about using the healthcare system. Many navigate through the system. That's something that I did for my patients, advising them where the corruption, where the real bad practices are there, and how we should be um, more like a smart customers of using the healthcare services. Okay, so education, trying to find out and trying to verify that information and also get what is important for you and apply that. That itself is a service, and I took a lot of happiness and pride in educating my patient, but I also demanded them to be questioning everything that is thrown at them, doubting everything that is thrown at them, and go and find the truth for themselves. That way, you can protect from this greed and corruption that is there in the healthcare system. Be it a insurance company denying your care, be it a physician trying to do defensive medicine or trying to make money at your cost, or be it an administrator who is promoting all sorts of things. Okay. I mean, these are very important topics. These are not my topics or your topics, these are our topics. Health care is our topic. Being well is our topic. And you should show more enthusiasm, more involvement in these topics. Not together just to entertain, not together just to exchange some information. But these are living problems. You will learn the skills of the living is much better for you. I may be talking about this, Lois may be talking about this, somebody else may be talking about that. But your involvement is very important. Okay? So as you see these problems, as you contribute, as you allow your diets to come up to a surface, you will learn more. Okay. My day will go very well whether I come here or talk. But my purpose is to just to present the viewpoint of why people are not well, why many people are not well, why so many people are chronically ill. That's a problem, right? So, the last chance. Anybody also wants to come up and tell me what do you think about this? All right. Okay. Just remember, be proactive about your wellness. It could be just sitting down and analyzing what are the medication I'm taking, why I'm taking them, what are the forecasts on this. Do I have to take these medications forever? Or can I change my lifestyle a little bit that are contributing to my chronic illness and cut down the medications? You can do that. Are there any way that I can think, feel, eat and move and sleep and rest? Are there better ways that the ancients lived that gave them longevity with meaningful life, purposeful life, joyful life? Find out, okay? And you'll be happy to you did that research. Okay, I learned a lot. Well, the moment I opened up the ancient wisdom, I'm still learning. I'm a student of ancient wisdom, and I'm very happy about that. And I want to bring it to people. I live that life. I live the life of no medications and really have a lot of energy. Even if something goes wrong, like I work on that. But first, I will be conservative measures. I don't like to put everything into my mind, into my body. Okay, so I hope you will get on the bandwagon of proactive wellness with me so that we can promote it through corporations, to the systems, to the families, to the individuals, professionals, and also we understand how to really make technology as a tool for us to promote this. That's my mission: wellness, technology assistance, and planetary wellness. That's what we are trying to do here. And look for more talks on this, more depth into this concept of being proactive about wellness. And you could always tell me what is your progress report. Did you start with wellness and did you lose that wellness? And do you know how to come back and stay there? Did you pay attention to wellness at all in your lifestyles? So all those things will be questioned, will be brought in, and the more honest you are, the more you want to know, the more information also will be given to you that way. Otherwise, we'll do circles, facilitators, and all that. Thank you, and I will see you guys again whenever I have the time. Bye bye.